Okay, so a good day to everyone. This will be the last discussion natin on my part of our TCEP on animal science, which is last na i-discuss natin will be on the genetics and on animal breeding. So yeah, so we will talk about first on the genetics, like ano nga ba yung role ng genes on animal productivity, ano ba yung mga mechanism of inheritance, and then pupunta tayo doon sa animal breeding. So yun yung i-discuss for this. Again, all of it will be discussed as video lecture kasi again, because of palarong panbansa, wala tayong parang classroom where we can discuss face to face. So, I am forced to make this video lecture para dito sa last topic na i-discuss ko. So, first, ano nga ba yung genetics? So, the genetic is the study of what? So, is it the study of living things? Is it the cells, tissues, and organs? Um, the reproduction and fertilization, or the heredity and variation? Although, if you look closely into the options, genetics can still be a study of living things. Since we are talking about, especially since we are sa subject na animal science, we are looking into animals. So, it's a living thing. So, you could say, in a stretch, that genetic is the study of living things, pero meron pang mga mas specific, kumbaga, na branch of science that deals with living things talaga, yung yung biology, kumbaga. Cells, tissues, and organs, yes, we are looking into the cells of the mga animals natin. Pero again, cells, tissues, and organs, more of like the physiology na. Reproduction and fertilization, it can be one. Um, or is it heredity and variation? So, kung titignan, parang lahat ng option pwede. Pero, again, when encountering itong mga options na ganito, na parang, ang dami-daming ah, or pwede naman lahat yung correct answer, try to look for the most specific na answer na. In this case, yung most specific answer for genetic is the study of will be heredity and variation. Okay? So, yan yung ano natin, genetic natin. So, when it comes to heredity na tinatawag, it is the transfer, laging tatandaan yung word na transfer when it comes to heredity. Trina-transfer niya yung parang genes from the parents papunta sa offspring. That is the reason why nitatang mo or ninanang mo karupropang. That is because of heredity. Or nitatang mo katkulot, si kakatkulot, and yun, that's heredity. Na-transfer yung genes niya for the curly hair from the parents to the offspring. Yun yung ibig sabihin nun. Okay? Nung ninanang kanitatang mo kulot, tapos ika, bagsak tibok na or straight tibok na, agtakakan, baka ada sa baling kaskasta ni tatang mo ninanang mo. Or maybe because of recessive genes. Pwede rin, okay? So, yan, basta when we say heredity, transfer of genetic material from parents to their offspring. So, paano na-transfer? Na-transfer yun through reproduction. Wala nang iba. When it comes to us, mga living organisms, especially tayong mga mammals, na-transfer lang yung genetic material na yun through reproduction. Okay? So, sa reproduction, you have yung meiosis natin, and then basically, wherein na wherein after that, you have yung fertilization or yung union ng gametes natin, yung sperm cell at saka yung egg cell natin. Okay? So, um, with all said and done, ang magagawa na ng heredity natin is that it can generate genotypes different from those of the two parents natin. This is because of meiosis, which is merong random na chromosome combination na magaganap. And then, because of fertilization, because of the random combination of male and female gametes. Because of these two mechanism na ito, nakakabuo ka ng genotype that is different from those of the two parents na. Okay? So, yun yung heredity natin. And then, another important attribute ng gene natin is that it is inherited from generation to generation, meaning yung mga anak, yung progeny, has a physical copy of this material, yung genes natin. And yung gene kasi natin, it provides yung information regarding yung structure, function, and other biological properties of the characteristic or traits that it controls. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, parang libro in 3 letters, kumbaga, kasi yung codon na tinatawag, parang libro yung ating gene wherein binabasa yan ng body natin. Ito pala yung dapat kong gawin na protein. Tapos ito dapat yung pagkakasunod-sunod ng mga protein na yon para makabuo ako ng ganitong structure, para ganito yung function, para ganito yung characteristic ng isang trait. Okay, so yon yung ating gene. And then, when it comes to the function ng ating gene, it stores and transmit yung genetic information from cell to cell and from parents to offspring. Again, it is carried from generation to generation to copy or replicate itself with great consistency and precision. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, parang hindi siya magbabago entirely kung magka-copy siya, kung ano yung kinapi niya, yun din yung mabubuo niya. And then 3, undergo mutation or error in copying which could subsequently be copied and replicated. Pero merong times that it will undergo mutation. Yung mutation ko na parang changes yan. Yung number 2 kasi, regular na kinakopy niya with consistency and precision kung ano yung gene na yon. Pero merong times that it will undergo mutation or changes on the structure ng genes natin, and yung changes na yun na re-replicate. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, kung ano yung changes na because of mutation, yun na din ulit yung i-re-replicate ng gene na yun. And nakakopy, na-re-replicate, so meaning na ma-manifest yung mutation na yun, kumbaga. Okay, so yan yung function. So with that, meron tayo nitong mga, before we proceed sa mga sa mga discussion, sa mga ibang discussion natin, we need to review first itong mga terminologies na to. So alam na dapat ninyo kung ano yung gene. Gene basically is the basic unit of heredity. Basta yun yung naipapasa from parent to child. So itong mga genes na to, they are made up of mga sequences ng mga DNA and are arranged one after another at specific location doon sa mga chromosomes natin. Then, when we say parental generation naman, or parent generation, it is the first generation, yun yung laging tatandaan. First generation involving dalawang individuals that are mated, that will reproduce with each other, para itong parent generation kasi natin, ina-analyze natin para makita natin yung genotypes ng offspring natin. Kaya kung matatandaan sa mga monohybrid, dihybrid cross, ang unang iaano mo is yung parent. Like for example, yung parent na ganyan, yung genotype, i-mate mo sa parent na ganyan yung genotype. And then makikita na natin kung ano yung genotype ng mga offspring nila. Okay? So yun yung parent generation. And then you have yung locus, ang laging or loci for plural, ang laging tatandaan lang sa lupus, location. Yon. The physical site or location of a specific gene on a chromosome. Yon yung laging tatandaan when it comes to lupus. Location. And then when we say filial generation naman, ang ibig sabihin ng filial generation, any of the successive generation of descent from the parent generation. Meaning, kung ano yung offspring dito, that's your F1, yung tinatawag. First filial generation. And then, nag-mate sila ulit, you have F2 or second filial generation. Basta kung ano yung anak ng parent generation, it is considered as the filial generation. Okay? Then we have allele. Ano nga ba yung allele? Allele is an alternative form of gene. Yun. Alternative form ng genes natin, they are called the alleles. So the two alleles na ino-occupy ng gene corresponding doon sa chromosome will control yung same character. Like for example, kung ganito yung allele, ito yung isang allele mo, ito din yung isang allele mo. Okay? So, um, sa genotype na yan, yung dalawang allele na yun can either have an effect doon sa overall trait ng uh, or sa overall trait na mamamanifest. Okay? And then when it comes to genotype, ang ibig sabihin ng genotype, genetic makeup of an organism. And in other words, it will describe yung organism's complete set of genes. Ang ano nito, itong mga ganito, these are called genotype. And it can be parang carried by an organism. And parang, it will be the one that will be responsible for the phenotype of that organism. Okay? So, kung ano yung itsura ng genotype, mai-influence niya yung mamamanifest na phenotype. Ganon yung ibig sabihin. Ano nga ba yung phenotype? Ang ibig sabihin kasi ng phenotype, iyon yung parang observable trait. Kung ano yung nakikita mo doon sa animal, like for example, kung kulay brown siya, dinidictate yan ng genotype natin, which is a combination of alleles. Okay? Or in other words, kung ano yung itsura or genetic makeup, paano yung pagkakasunod-sunod ng mga ano natin, homozygous dominant, tapos heterozygous, mga ganon, those are your genotype. Then, when it comes to gamete, gamete is yung cell, reproductive cell of an animal. So, yung female gametes natin, those are your egg cells. Yung male gametes natin, yun yung sperm cell. Okay? Then, homozygous, when we say homozygous, magkaparehas yung allele for a particular gene. Yun yung homozygous. Like for example, that is this is dominant allele. Kung pag dominant kasi, it will connote yung parang capital letter. Pag recessive, it will connote yung small letter. So, when we say homozygous, pwede na doon sa genotype, yung dalawang allele doon sa genotype, magkaparehas. Okay? So, it can be either homozygous dominant, kung dalawa yung dominant, or homozygous recessive, kung recessive. Kung dalawang recessive. Okay? Basta magkaparehas dapat. Dominant, dominant, recessive, recessive. Hindi pwede na dominant tapos yung isang allele will be recessive. Ang ibig sabihin pag ganun na, he will be heterozygous. Okay? Pag sinabing heterozygous, magkaiba, different version ng allele. Okay? So you have a dominant and then you have a recessive. Yan yung heterozygous natin. And then when it comes to purebred, basically it is also called as homozygous and consists of gene pairs with genes that are of the same. Purebred yung tawag doon. And then monohybrid cross, ano yan, dapat alam na ninyo. Um, parang cross between the hybrid of two individuals with homozygous genotypes. And then it will result in the parang phenotype for a certain genetic trait. So basically you have one na ganyan, and then you mate it with ganyan na genotype. When you do homozygous cross, basically, sulat mo lang yung ano ng mga parents, and then you can do your crossing. And madidictate sa monohybrid cross kung ano yung genotype ng isang parent. Okay? Ganon yung mangyayari. Anyway, na-discuss yan noong Agri 21 ninyo. So again, ito na ulit na basta laging tatandaan, store and transmit genetic information, copy or replicate itself, and then undergo mutation. Those are your functions ng genes natin. So with that, ano nga ba yung function or ano ba yung role ng genes when it comes to the productivity of the animal? Actually, um, it can influence yung growth, it can influence yung reproductive traits, yung production traits, as well as yung health ng ating animal. Okay? So, like for example, sa growth traits natin, merong yung mga genes natin, it can influence yung metabolism ng animal that can result to growth. It can also influence yung production ng hormone natin. Like for example, growth hormone. So, which again influences growth, and it can also influence muscle development, which is directly correlated to growth. So basically, yung mga genes natin yung nagdidictate, nagre-regulate sa metabolism, sa hormone production, and muscle development. And all of this will result to the growth of the animal. So, yan. Aside from that, sa reproductive traits naman natin, yung mga genes natin, it can control hormonal pathways. Basically, parang pathway wherein meron parang effect, parang chain of effect, parang ganun na pag ni-release itong hormone na ito, ma-stimulate yung organ na ito to release this hormone, and then this hormone will go to this organ, and that organ, because of the presence of the hormone, will release another hormone that will influence another organ. Parang ganun yung pathway na tinatawag dyan. And genes will control this. Sila yung parang magbibigay ng go signal na i-release mo na itong genes na itong hormone na ito para masimulan na yung pathway, hormonal pathway. And then aside from that, it will also influence the development ng mga reproductive organ ng mga animals natin. Okay, so yan yung ano ng role ng genes when it comes to reproductive traits. For production traits, like for example, yung milk yield, egg size, meat quality, genes will encode for enzymes and proteins involved in nutrient metabolism and organ function. Ang ibig sabihin nito, to actually parang influence or to actually gain yung characteristic na mataas yung milk yield, malaki yung egg, maganda yung marbling, maganda yung meat quality, nai-influence yan in the nai-influence yan ng genes natin. Kasi yung genes natin, again, yung sinabi ko kanina, parang yung libro na binabasa nung body ng animal. Ngayon, kung yung gene na yun, dinidictate na sinasabi na, ganito dapat karami yung milk yield nitong animal na ito, yun yung um, babasahin ng body ng animal. And then yun yung magpamanifest as characteristic, as production trait. Pag sinabi na doon sa gene na 4 liters of milk yung pwede niyang i-produce per day, yun yung magmamanifest. Okay? Pag sinabi na PV size lang yung egg size ng mga layers na ito, dahil sinabi yun ng genes, binasa nung body ng animal, then yung egg size lang will be PV size. Mga ganon. Okay? So, doon sa pinaka-liit-liit na mga genes natin, ah, doon nagsisimula yung reason kung bakit ganito kataas yung milk yield, ganito kalaki yung egg. Genes yung nagdi-dictate yun. Okay? And then health traits, like for example, resistance to diseases, some genes increase immunity or resistance to pathogens. Okay? So basically, meron tayong mga genes that will influence kung gaano resistance itong animal na ito to certain diseases. So, yan. All of it, again, kung titignan, genes lahat, nagsisimula lahat yan sa genes when it comes to um, influencing yung mga traits ng mga animal, ng mga traits ng mga farm animals natin. It will all go back it will all boil down sa genes natin. Okay? Sila yung mismong nag-i-influence kung anong protein, anong hormone, anong enzyme, ano yung pagkakasunod-sunod ng protein, and overall, this will affect the growth rate, reproductive rate, production rate, and health rates. Okay? Then, aside from that, meron din yung mga effect mismo ng interaction ng mga genes natin and how this will affect also yung traits natin. So, additive, when dominance, epistasis, these are all gene actions that will also affect yung animal productivity. Like for example, sa additive, the effect ng mga individual alleles natin add up. And example of this is yung milk yield. It is because of the influence ng additive gene action. Dominance naman, wherein one allele mask the effect of another, especially yung recessive allele, the dominant allele will mask the effect of the recessive allele. Example of this is yung coat color natin. So, kung meron kang present ng recessive allele na kulay puti, pero meron ding present na dominant allele na kulay itim, yung trait na ma-manifest will be kulay itim. Okay, ganon. And then epistasis, one gene must or modifies the expression of another gene. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, kung meron kang present ng isang gene that will cover up yung effect ng another gene, ang mangyayari ngayon kung ano yung effect ng gene na yon na nag-cover up doon sa another gene, siya yung magmamanifest. Okay? So, example of this is yung dairy cattle natin. Genes like yung DGAT1 will influence milk fat content, while yung mga growth hormone natin and IGF-1 are associated with growth and body composition. So, basically, aside from yung directly involved na yung genes mismo doon sa productivity ng animal, the interaction and the relationship with the genes with each other, mapa-additive man yan, dominance or epistasis, will also affect the productivity of the animal. Okay, so yeah. With that, meron tayong mechanics of inheritance na tinatawag. Ang ibig sabihin nito, hindi naman, kasi yung sinabi ko kanina, yung heredity, ipapasa from one parent to another. So, basically, yun naman talaga, yung ano natin, paano na-inherit yung genes from the parent to the offspring. So, again, yung sinabi ko kanina, it is possible because of reproduction. So, sa animal reproduction, we have the spermatogenesis and gametogenesis, oogenesis natin. basically, the production ng egg cell natin at saka yung sperm cell natin, which is needed in order for reproduction to occur. And then, when it comes to fertilization, kung nabuo na yung sperm cell at saka yung egg cell natin, you can do it via natural mating, or you can do it via artificial insemination. As long as the two gametes, yung egg cell and yung sperm cell, is present, you can do fertilization. Okay? So, yeah. Basically, laging tatandaan, heredity or the transfer of genetic material from the parent to the offspring is only possible because of reproduction, either through natural mating or artificial insemination. So, when it comes to inheritance kasi, ang ibig sabihin niyan, it describes paano ba naipapasa yung trait na yon, yung from parents to the offspring. Okay? It is via yung genes natin. So, meron tayong mga dalawang type ng inheritance, general type ng inheritance. You have yung Mendelian inheritance, and then you also have yung non-Mendelian inheritance. Okay? So, when we say Mendelian inheritance, it follows the law of set upon by Gregor Mendel. Pag non-Mendelian inheritance, it will not follow yung laws set upon by Gregor Mendel. Okay? Merong mga specific situations kasi na hindi sumasang-ayon or hindi sumusunod doon sa uh, law of inheritance ni Mendel. Okay? So, basta laging tatandaan yung dalawa na yan, Mendelian inheritance and non-Mendelian inheritance. So, when it comes to Mendelian inheritance, meron tayong dalawa. You have yung law of segregation and you have yung law of independent assortment. So, when it comes to law of segregation, yung parent natin, each parent passes one allele for each trait to their offspring. So, you have, like for example, ito yung isang parent sa yellow seed, and then yung isa green seed, it will pass yung one allele for each trait to its offspring. Okay? So, basically, yung F1 or yung first filial generation natin na magkakaiba-iba na yung parang um, allele, especially the parents hindi magkakapareho ng genotype. Like for example, yung isang parent will be homozygous dominant and yung isang parent will be homozygous recessive. Magkakaiba-iba na yung genotype ng mga offspring niya. Basta laging tatandaan when it comes to law of segregation, each parent, pinapasa one allele for the one parent and then one allele for this another parent to their offspring. Then when it comes to law of independent assortment, genes for in different traits are inherited independently if they are on different chromosomes. So, basically, when it comes to law of independent assortment, that is the reason why na hindi naman parang magkakapare-pareho yung entirely and toto na yung kapatid mo will have the same face as you. Parang ganon. Okay? Now, when it comes to non-Mendelian inheritance, madaming mga madaming mga mechanisms when it comes to non-Mendelian inheritance. You have linkage, you have sex-related traits, multiple alleles, lethals, modifier genes, gene interactions, pseudo-alleles. You also have yung influence ng environment on gene expression. Ang ibig sabihin lang nito, anong tawag dito? Like for example, if ganito yung temperature, doon lang magmamanifest yung effect ng gene na yon, and then doon lang magmamanifest yung trait na yon. Ganun. Kung ganito yung light duration, doon lang magmamanifest yung effect ng gene. Yun, basta when it comes to the influence ng E, when we say E kasi yun yung environment. Okay? parang dinidictate ng environment kung ano yung magiging effect or magiging kung kailan magma-manifest yung gene, kung kailan ma-express yung gene na yon. And then you have yung extra nuclear inheritance na tinatawag. Okay? So those are your Mendelian inheritance, and try natin na isa-isahin. I will not go deep. I will not dig deep, kumbaga, on the anong tawag dito? On each of these non-Mendelian inheritance, wag nating i-discuss isa-isa comprehensively na mag-cross pa tayo para itignan kung ano yung effect talaga nitong, like for example, sa gene interaction, i-cross pa natin, i-discuss ko na lang kung ano yung mga ano nga ba yung linkage, ano ba yung gene interaction, mga ganun, okay? Especially since this is a video lecture, mahirap na i-discuss na mag-cross pa tayo, magmumuna hybrid cross, dihybrid cross pa tayo. Ang hirap magsulat gamit yung mouse. So, ang first will be linkage. So, presence in the same chromosome of two non-allelic genes affecting two traits. Ang ano nito, kung titignan dito sa diagram na to, yung left side natin, ito yung independent assortment na tinatawag. Okay? Wherein it follows yung law of independent assortments. Like for example, yung gene A natin at saka yung gene B natin are on different chromosomes or far apart on the same chromosome. Okay? So, magkakaiwalay yan. Yung dominant A at saka yung recessive A are on different chromosomes. Same goes sa dominant A, dominant B at saka yung recessive B natin. During meiosis kasi, or yung crossing over na tinatawag, the genes are assorted independently. So, it will result to something like this. Okay? The na-produce na is a new combination wherein sa isang chromosome meron ka ng yung recessive A at saka yung dominant B. And then on the other chromosome meron na doon yung dominant A and then yung recessive B natin. Okay? So it follows yung law of independent assortment. Kasi genes for different traits are inherited independently. So in simple term, itong mga traits na to, itong mga genes na to can mix freely because yung mga genes na ito are not stuck together. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, hindi naman sila nakalink together. Okay? So yun yung pag fina-follow natin yung Mendel law. Pero pag sa right side naman, ito yung linkage na tinatawag. Okay? Ang linkage na tinatawag, basically nakalink yung dalawang genes na yon. Or nakalink yung dalawang allele na yon. Dalawang genes na yon. So, kahit na merong meiosis na magaganap, merong crossing over na magaganap, hindi pa rin magbabago. Okay? It will not mix. Kumbaga. So in simple terms, some genes are so close to each other that they are linked with each other that they stay together and they don't mix freely. Kumbaga. Kahit na merong crossing over na magaganap, same pa rin. Kung titignan, ito yung sa chromosome, ganon din yung mangyayari pag linkage kahit na merong crossing over na magaganap. Okay? So I hope na merong na-explain ko yung kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng linkage. So with that, meron tayong tinatawag na sex-related traits. So these are yung mga traits whose expressions are related to the sex of the animal. Meron tayong tatlo, okay? Hindi lang iisa. Sex-linked na traits, sex-influenced na trait, and then sex-limited na traits. Dito muna tayo sa sex-limited. Limited. It is limited only to kung ano yung sex mo or kung ano yung gender mo. So basically, traits are only limited to or only expressed only on one sex. Okay? Like for example, milk production, egg production, anong sex or anong gender ng animal yan? It is only for female. Kaya nga sex limited. Hindi naman pwede na male yung magaganap or hindi naman pwede na male yung magpo-produce ng milk or magpo-produce ng egg. So it is only limited to female. Pag sinabing sex influence, traits for which the expression depends on the sex of the individual. So, like for example, presence of horns in sheep. So basically, magkaiba siya sa limited wherein both male and female can manifest naman yung horns, di ba? Like for example, sa sheep, namamanifest naman yung horns both for male and female. So it is not limited to only one sex. Pero, pag sinabing sex influence, certain breeds will dictate na itong male lang yung pwedeng magkaroon ng horn, and then itong female hindi pwedeng magkaroon ng horns. And then some breeds will dictate na itong female lang yung pwedeng magkaroon ng horn, and then itong male hindi pwedeng magkaroon ng horn. Okay? So it is influenced by sex. And then pag sex link, traits associated with a gene located literally on the sex chromosome. Ang ibig sabihin nito, yung feather, kulay ng feather, color, mga ganyan, nakalink yan to certain, nakalink yan kung male or female. Okay? Kasi iba yung feather na ma-express, feather color, plumage color, na ma-express, plumage pattern na ma-express pag male ka or pag female ka. Iba din yung kulay pag male ka or female ka. Okay? So, yon yung sex-related traits. Laging tatandaan yung link, influence, and limited. Like, for example, dito sa chicken sexing, it is influenced mainly kung it is, like for example, if it is sex limited, sex influence, mga ganyan. Like for example, comb color and sizes, yung comb size is larger on males and yung comb, and then smaller on females. So it is influenced by sex, yung comb size niya. Okay, mga ganun. So, yung sex link na mga genes natin, it is important when it comes to identifying yung gender ng mga animals natin. Like for example, through feather sexing, makikita mo na kung ano yung or madedetermine mo na kung ano yung gender ng isang chick. Sa vocalization niya, usually yung mga rooster natin, yung mga males natin will start crowing or nagvo-vocalization na sila at around 4 to 5 months of age, which will indicate na ito is a male. Mga ganon. Okay? So yan, another one, ganyan. Pag male, one-step curve-shaped wing daw. And then pag female, two-step curve-shaped wing. So, it is yung shape ng wing, it is sex influence wherein iba yung itsura ng male, iba yung itsura ng female. And then, some example of sex influence traits. Basically, ang inaano nito, so like for example, dito sa part na to. So if it is yung homozygous dominant is mated to ang homozygous recessive, you have the same naman na genotype, kumbaga, di ba? Same lang yung genotype niya. Pero kung titignan, if it is a male, nagiging horn. If it is a female, nagiging bald or wala siyang horn. So basically, you have you have the same genotype, heterozygous, pero since it is a male and another one is a female, magkaiba yung phenotype na magmamanifest. Okay? Ganon yung mangyayari doon. And then, pag naman heterozygous, the genes are usually expressed as dominant in the male and recessive in the female. Okay? So, ang ano nito, pag minate mo itong heterozygous to another heterozygous, you have these three distinct genotype na ganito. Pero, pag male siya, basta merong dominant, bald siya. Okay? Or wala siyang horn. Pero pag homozygous recessive na, nagiging horn siya. Okay? Sa male. Pero pag sa female, pag homozygous dominant, sige, bald. Pero pag heterozygous na, nagiging horn siya. At sa isa, pag kahit heterozygous yung male, nagiging bald pa rin siya. Pero sa female, kung heterozygous yan, nagiging horn. Okay? So, sex influence siya. And then, pag homozygous recessive, nagiging horn siya. So, yan yung example ng mga sex influence trait. Then, we have what we call as multiple alleles. Ano naman yung multiple alleles natin? Basically, madami yung alleles, hindi lang isa, hindi lang dalawa, at a single location. Okay? Could have a dominance or with or without codominance na inaano natin. Example is coat color in rabbits. So, like for example dito, meron tayong itong CH. Ito yung parang um, extra. Kaya tinatawag na multiple alleles. So, pag meron kang naka-superscript na CH na yan, it will influence yung anong tawag nito? Yung kulay nitong mga rabbits natin. If meron kang superscript na H na yan, it will also influence yung kulay ng ating mga rabbits. So like for example ito, meron kang recessive na C, tapos meron kang superscript na CH, ang magiging itsura ng ating rabbit will be chinchilla. Pero pag meron kang recessive C, pero meron kang superscript na H, ang magiging kulay niyan is Himalayan. Okay? Kahit na meron kang superscript na H dito, which is yun yung isang allele, kaya naging multiple allele, kahit meron kang superscript na CH, meron ka namang present nung CH na superscript, ang pagiging itsura pa rin ng rabbit mo will be chinchilla. Okay? Ganon. Merong interplay ng mga different alleles natin, nagiging mas complicated, kumbaga, yung anong tawag nito? Nagiging mas complicated yung determine natin nung phenotype ng mga animals natin because of the presence of these multiple alleles that will interact with each other. This allele will, if it has a presence of this naka-superscript na allele, will influence or will be dominant with this allele. Pero kung merong present nitong allele na to, it will mask off the effect of this allele, mga ganun. Ang daming interaction and mas mahihirapan kang predict kung ano yung phenotype nitong mga animals natin. So, it is generally assumed kasi that gene pair has only two alleles. Okay? this condition arises from the presence kasi ng homologous pairs doon sa chromosomes natin, especially sa mga diploid organism. And each one, itong mga chromosomes natin, contains one allele of the gene pair. However, meron kasing mga reported cases where more than two alleles exist in a gene. Like for example, ito. Okay? Nag-e-exist sila in a gene and are defined as a system of multiple alleles yung tawag doon. So, basically, in a multiple allele system, the alleles act within the same phenotypic range and they can be called as isoalleles. So, itong mga isoalleles natin na ito, it can be, they can be considered, many isoalleles kasi natin have been discovered, some within yung phenotypic range of an abnormal na character or yung mga mutant na tinatawag and some within phenotypic range of yung mga parang wild type na mga characters natin. So, a multiple allelic system may therefore be complex, madaming magiging phenotype ulit. Yun yung sinasabi ko kanina. Like for example, itong mga blood type natin, madaming pwedeng possible blood types because hindi lang naman yung ordinary lang na dalawang alleles lang yung nandun sa genotype. Okay? Because of the presence of isoalleles natin, it will influence kung anong blood type mo. Then we also have lethal genes. Ano naman yung lethal genes? Basically, yung lethal genes natin, lethal. Yun lang yung laging tatandaan. Nakakamatay. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng lethal genes natin. Genes that cause death or lethality of an organism. So, lethality may exist as recessive lethals. Ang ibig sabihin nito, nagmamanifest yung lethal gene na yun pag yung genotype ng organism na yun is homozygous recessive. So, thankfully, fortunately, most of our lethal genes are recessive lethals. Okay? Most of our lethal genes recessive lethals. Ang ibig this is lucky for us kasi nga kahit na meron ka nitong lethal genes na to, itong recessive na lethal na ito, as long as you have a dominant allele that will mask off the effect of this recessive gene, hindi ka mamamatay. Okay? Kasi it is only expressed when they are into homozygous condition. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, pag itong letter A, itong recessive na allele natin na ito, tsaka lang nakakamatay if it is in the presence of another recessive allele. Ganyan. Okay? Pero pag meron kang dominant allele, tapos meron ka nitong recessive lethal na ito, hindi ka mamamatay kasi the dominant allele will mask off the effect of the lethal allele. Okay? Nagiging delikado lang itong recessive lethal if both yung like for example, if both of your parents are carrier of this recessive allele. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, if yung parent mo is heterozygous yung genotype and kinakarry niya yung recessive lethal na to, and then yung yung isang parent mo pa is heterozygous, tapos kinakarry itong recessive lethal na ito, 1 out of 4 doon sa mga anak niya will carry yung homozygous recessive na lethal genes. And dito lang nagmamanifest, doon lang mamamatay, okay? So, the survival of the heterozygous is not affected. Pag heterozygous ka, safe ka. you will live a normal life, kumbaga. Pero, gasang-gasat, no, DJ na destiny ni nanang mo, ket parehas na merong recessive lethal, wala kang magagawa. Kung ikaw yung nakakuha nung recessive lethal na yon, homozygous recessive na yon, malas mo. You can have these diseases. Itong mga ano to, high mortality, talagang mamamatay ka. Okay? So wala tayong magagawa pag ganun na. Okay? Yun yung recessive lethal. Thankfully, most of our lethal genes are recessive lethal. Then we also have dominant lethals. Ito naman, dahil is lethal both in homozygous dominant and heterozygous genotypes. Kasi pag homozygous dominant, ganyan. Dominant lethals, ito, nakakamatay ito. Pag dominant na ganyan. Kung ganyan yung genotype mo, wala na. Patay ka na. Okay? Or kahit ganito yung genotype mo, heterozygous, kahit meron kang present ng recessive allele, wala rin magagawa si recessive allele mo. Kasi the dominant will mask the effect of the recessive allele. So meaning, mamamatay ka pa rin. Okay? Hindi ka lang mamamatay kung yung genotype mo will be homozygous recessive. Okay? Ganon. Pero, thankfully, fortunately again, this is very rare. Okay? Alleles only last one generation kasi and thus usually not transmitted. Ang ibig sabihin nito, walang opportunity yung organism na yon to transfer yung genes na yon to its offspring kasi nga mamamatay naman kaagad. Okay? Kasi nga dominant, mamamatay ka agad. Okay? So, can only be transmitted if the lethality phenotype occurs after reproductive age. Yun lang. Pag nag-manifest lang yung lethal genes, dominant lethal na yun, after, pwede ka nang, you are matured enough to actually mate, doon lang na delikado. Pero again, most naman, ah, hindi na makakaabot sa age na yon, sa reproductive age na yon kasi mamamatay naman kaagad. Okay? So yan yung dominant lethal static. Then semi-lethal, some have high degree of penetrance and expression allowing little or no survival among the affected genotypes beyond the embryonic stage. So other lethal genes called the semi-lethal permits a large proportion of unaffected genotypes to survive. Ang ibig sabihin nito, parang itong hemophilia. Itong hemophilia na to, it is a hereditary disease caused by deficiency in clotting factors, which results to parang impaired blood clotting and coagulation. Because yung allele responsible for hemophilia is carried on the X chromosome, affected individuals are predominantly mga males lang. Okay? Kaya nga semi-lethal. And they inherit the allele from their mothers. So, because of this, the alleles responsible for hemophilia are called semi-lethal or sublethal genes because they cause the death of only some of the individuals or organisms with the affected genotype. Ang ibig sabihin nito, parang conditional. Hindi lahat na merong semi-lethal genes will die. In the case of hemophilia, sa male lang, predominantly male lang yung mamamatay. Okay? Ganon yung mangyayari sa semi-lethal genes. Then, conditional lethals, the organisms may be able to survive under permissive conditions and can only cause lethality or death under restricted conditions. So ito yung mga patterns kung paano, or ito yung mga conditions, kumbaga. So, first, exposure of the organism to the restrictive condition during a specific period of development. Monophasic yung tawag doon. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, like for example, pagtungtong mo ng 13 years old, doon lang magmamanifest yung lethal gene na yon, doon ka lang mamamatay. Okay? So, yun yung monophasic. Or exposure during any two or more polyphasic developmental stage. So, basically, meron kang dalawang developmental stage na pwede na nagiging lethal itong genes na ito. And then, possession of lethal bearing males and females of different temperature sensitive stage, either male or female, sexual dimorphic yung tawag doon. At different temperature sensitive stage, ang ibig sabihin niyan, either male ka, tapos at this condition, at this temperature condition, magmamanifest yung lethal gene na yun, doon ka lang mamamatay. And then exposure at any stage of the development, ito yung pinaka high mortality at any stage of the development of the organism, mamamatay. Then wala tayong magagawa. Those are your conditional lethals. Merong condition dapat na mamimit before the expression ng lethal gene na yun will manifest. Before ka mamamatay, kumbaga. Then you have modifier genes. Ang ibig sabihin naman ng modifier genes, genes that affect the phenotypic or molecular expression of other genes in a quantitative fashion. So, So it is generally assumed kasi that gene pair has only two alleles again. Pero, meron kasing specific modes of actions of the modifiers. And they are not always known, but as a rule, modification is achieved either through dilution or enhancement. Yung dalawang alleles na yon, although yung normal na condition will be pag dominant allele will mask the effect of the recessive allele. Yun yung normal na natin. Pero pag modifier genes, it can also dilute the effect of another gene or it can also enhance the effect of another gene. Okay? Ganun yung mangyayari. So, like for example, itong mga to, dalawang black pero yung mga anak can be either black, diluted black, brown, or na mas diluted na brown, mga ganun. Okay? So, that is because of modifier genes. So, like for example, ito, kung meron kang presence ng dominant B at saka dominant D, black ka. Pero, pag meron kang dominant B, tapos homozygous recessive D, nadidilute yung black, nagiging grayish yung kulay, okay? Pero, pag meron kang homozygous recessive P, tapos dominant D, nag-iiba ulit yung kulay, nagiging brown. Okay? So yan, modifier genes, they will modify yung effect ng mga alleles natin. They can either suppress, in some cases, it can also suppress, they can either dilute or enhance. So yan. And then you also have yung mga gene interactions natin. Itong mga gene interactions naman natin can be either novel phenotypes, recessive epistasis, dominant epistasis, complementary genes, or duplicate genes na tinatawag. So, pag sinabing novel phenotypes, there is a complete dominance in both gene pairs. So, like for example, sa rose comb, rose is dominant to non-rose. Sa picom, P is dominant to non-picom. Okay? Basically, if you have itong dominant genes na ito, it will mask off the effect of the other gene. Okay? And because of that, merong magaganap or merong magmamanifest na parang ibang phenotype in cases na itong dominant R and itong dominant P is present in the same genotype. So magiging walnut na siya. Okay? Ganon yung mangyayari. Pero, pag wala yung isa, like for example dito, yung dominant R lang yung nandun, it will mask off the effect of the other genes na roast siya. Same goes dito. Pag dominant P, pero yung iba is recessive na, P siya. Pero kung wala yung dalawa, nagiging single. Novel phenotype kasi meron kang new phenotype that will manifest based on the interaction ng dalawang genes na yan. Okay? Okay, for recessive epistasis naman, there is complete dominance in both gene pairs, but one gene, when homozygous recessive, hides masks the effect of the other gene. Okay? So, if ganito yung genotype, you have homozygous recessive A and then homozygous dominant C, black yan. Pag meron namang homozygous dominant A and then homozygous recessive C, nagiging albino yan. And then if both of those gene pairs naging heterozygous na, agouti yun. Okay? Pero when it comes to recessive epistasis na ano natin, yung homozygous recessive C natin, epistatic to agouti and black. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, pag kahit na meron kang, anong tawag ito, meron kang homozygous recessive A na yan, kung meron ka nitong homozygous recessive C na ito, hindi magma-manifest yung black. Okay? Kasi nga epistasis, it will mask off the effect of the other. Ang result nun will be albino. Okay? Ganon yung mangyayari doon. So, yan yung ibig sabihin ng recessive epistasis. Kung meron kang present ng basta homozygous recessive, mamamas niya yung effect ng other gene, other alleles na nandun sa genotype na yon. So, meaning it will change yung phenotype. Maiiba na yung phenotype. Okay? Then, when it comes to complementary genes, there is complete dominance in both gene pairs, but either homozygote is epistatic to the effect of the other gene. So, yung genes na dominant P and dominant C produces enzymes that catalyzes successive steps in chemical process leading to the production of our pigments. Yun yung interaction natin. Kaya pag meron kang dominant P and then dominant C, nagiging purple. Pag wala, nagiging white. Okay? Pero, or kahit na meron kang recessive genes, basta meron yung dominant, purple pa rin siya. Okay? Ngayon, it will dictate na ito, meron kang dominant P, meron kang dominant C, purple. Okay? Purple yan. Kasi dapat present si dominant P at saka si dominant C. Ngayon, kung wala yung isa, kahit na meron yung like for example dito sa pangalawa, meron ka nung dominant P, pero nawawala yung partner niya, hindi na yung magmamanifest ng purple. Magiging white na yan. So, same goes dito. Meron ka nung dominant C, pero wala na yung dominant P, wala na yung partner, kumbaga, nagiging white na yan. Okay? So, kung titignan, complementary, when we say, they complement each other. They are destined with each other, kumbaga. Dapat, to manifest yung purple na kulay, dapat meron ka ni dominant P at saka ni dominant C. Kung wala yung isa, hindi yung magma-manifest. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng complementary genes. Okay? Complete dominance in both gene pairs, pero either homozygote is epistatic to the effects of the other gene. Kung wala yun, it will not manifest. Hindi magma-manifest. In this case, yung purple genes natin. Then, duplicate gene, there is complete dominance in both gene pairs, but either genes, when dominant, is epistasis to the other. So, ito, dominant A, for triangular na shape, dominant siya sa ovoid na shape. Okay? Kahit na meron kang present ng recessive A or B na yan, triangular pa rin yung ano natin, yung shape. So, kung titignan, triangular pa rin yung una kasi nga meron ka nung A, kasi nga A is dominant to the homozygous recessive A, and then yung homozygous B is dominant to the homozygous recessive B. Kaya nagiging triangular. Okay? Ngayon, kahit na wala um, yung isa, like for example, kahit na homozygous dominant A lang yung nandun sa genotype, kahit wala yung homozygous dominant B, triangular pa rin. Kasi ito will mask off the effect of the other genes. Same goes dito, kahit wala yung homozygous A, kung meron yung homozygous dominant A, kung meron naman yung homozygous dominant B, nagiging triangular pa rin yung shape. Okay? Tsaka lang nagiging ovoid kung wala na yung dalawang genes na yon. Okay? So, yan. A dominant allele at either gene pair hides the effect of the ovoid shape. Kahit sino pa, kung dominant A or dominant B, basta meron kang present nung isa na yon, kahit isa doon sa dalawa, nagiging triangular pa rin yung shape. Then, you also have what we call as pseudo-alleles. Ano naman yung pseudo-alleles? Closely linked genes that have similar functions. And their proximity on the chromosome makes their distinction by the complementation test traditionally used by geneticists difficult. Kasi nga, they are closely linked with each other. And believed to result from mutations which are allelic in a functional sense but not in structural sense. So, basically, meron kang dalawang magkaiba na genes but because they are linked with each other, parang same sila ng function. So, kahit na dominant A yan or recessive A yan, because they are linked closely with each other. Or kahit dominant A yan or dominant B yan, since they are closely linked with each other, they will have the same function. Ganon yung pseudo-alleles. Then, we have here the chromosomes of domestic species natin. Hindi ko na i-discuss. Nilagay ko na lang because most of the time, merong, ano yan, merong, anong tawag dito? Merong lalabas at lalabas sa mga board exam. Ito yung chromosome number ng ganito. So, yan. So, please, memorize. Walang no sugar coating on that. You need to memorize itong mga chromosomes natin. Chromosome number natin per poultry species. So, yan yung ating mode of inheritance. So, I do hope na meron kayong natutunan doon. And then we go sa population genetics. Ano nga ba yung population genetics? Kanina, lahat ng mga dinidiscuss natin per individual per individual organism. Okay? Ngayon, when it comes to population genetics, we are actually looking into the genetic makeup, genetic constitution, genetic structure ng isang population. Okay? So, it is the study of the genetic constitution or structure of a given population with respect to a certain trait at a given time or generation and the factors or forces that could change its structure from generation to generation. Okay? Basta laging tatandaan, it is a study ng genetic makeup structure natin within a given population. So, dito tinitignan natin yung gene frequency, allele frequency, and not the individual. Okay? So, study of the gene and genotypic frequency within a population and the prediction of these frequencies in subsequent generation. Okay? Yun, ulit, another definition ng population genetics. Ang tinitignan na natin is yung number or frequency ng gene and the frequency ng genotype within a population. And because of computation, we can actually predict kung ano na yung genetic frequency, gene frequency nung succeeding generations. Okay? Then, application of the Mendelian inheritance to the population level at hindi na sa individual level. Okay? And then, intimately bound up with the study of evolution and natural selection kasi nga nakikita natin dito kung ano yung effect ng natural selection doon sa gene frequency, genotype frequency within a population. So, ano nga ba yung sinasabi kong population? Yung population na sinasabi ko, it is a breeding group. Keyword is a group. Or a group of individuals sharing a common gene pool. Okay? Yun yung population. Population ng landrace, population ng large white within a herd, population ng Hereford within a herd, mga ganon. Okay? That's your population. So, it could refer to a breed. So, again, population ng large white. It could also refer to an entire species, a population ng baboy, ng cattle. It can also refer to a single herd or flock, population within that specific herd on your farm, population within the specific flock on your farm, or even a small group of animals within a herd. Doon sa herd, population ng mga black yung kulay, population within a herd ng mga white yung kulay. So yan yung population natin. And then, another definition, a group of intermating individuals. Ang ibig sabihin, they mate with each other. So, they breed with each other. So, yun yung population. And then, a group of organisms of the same species that are found in the same area and can interbreed, wherein population is the smallest unit that can evolve. So, yan yung meaning ng population. It is a group of living organism. Either you can characterize it as a breed, group of breeds ng animals, per species, per herd, or even per population within a herd. Okay, so yan yung population natin. Then, when it comes to gene pool, ang tinatawag na gene pool, totality of genes, kasi pinupul mo, tinototal mo yung genes within a population. Okay? Totality of genes that could potentially be transmitted by individuals in a population to the next generation. So, yun yung gene pool natin. Kasi nga, within a population, hindi naman ibig sabihin nun, magkakapare-parehas na sila ng genes. So, gene pool, you have different genes. You total all of the genes within a population, and then, or yung mga genes that could potentially be transmitted to the next generation. So, all the copies of all genes within interbreeding population, yun din yung gene pool. Lahat na ng genes natin within a population, yun yung gene pool. And then total genetic information contained in all of the alleles in the breeding members of a population. That's another definition ng gene pool. Basically, parang ano yan? You could say parang data, parang summary of data, summary of genotype within a population. Yun yung gene pool natin. Then, when it comes to genetic structure, basically it is the composition, genotype, kumbaga, or genetic constitution. So, distribution ng genotypes, like for example, kinds and frequencies of the genotype of its member at a certain location. The amount of and distribution of genetic variation within and among population is determined by interaction of ecological and genetic processes. Sa genetic structure natin, kung ilan or ano yung frequency or genetic variation within a population, nade-determine yan based on the interaction ng environment and yung genetic processes. Then, when it comes to genotype or genotypic frequency, proportion of each genotype in the population or yung number of genotypes within a population, yung ratio of genotype within a population, or the fraction of individuals within a given genotype. Kung ilan yung merong homozygous dominant, kung ilan yung may homozygous recessive, kung ilan yung merong heterozygous. Yon yung genotype or genotypic frequency. Now, gene or allele frequency, total of number of genes represented by a particular allele in a population, relative abundance or rarity of a particular gene in a population, or how common a particular allele appears in a population. Basically, kung ilan yung merong dominant A, merong recessive gene, recessive allele, merong dominant allele, yun yung gene or allele frequency. And then, in population genetics, meron tayo nung HWE na tinatawag or yung Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, which is governed by this law. So, it is coined by Wilhelm Weinberg and Godfrey Hardy, wherein for a large random mating population, the gene and genotypic frequencies remain constant from generation to generation. Ang ibig sabihin nito, yung kinocompute natin or binibilang natin na mga genotypic frequency, mga allele frequencies na yan, it will be the same from generation to generation. Okay? Kahit nag-i-interbreed pa yan, kahit breed pa yan, mga animals within the population. Ang allele or yung genotypic frequency will still be the same from generation to generation. Yun yung Hardy-Weinberg law. Pero, meron tayong condition for that. Kailangan wala or in the absence of mutation, migration, and selection. Itong mutation, migration, and selection kasi na to, ano to? Chine-change na yung genotypic frequency. Kasi you are basically influencing na yung number of alleles within a population. Pag merong mutation na magaganap, mag-change yung genotypic, mag-change yung genotype. Kasi nga nag-mutate na. Eh pag nag-mutate yan, kinakopy ng genes yan. And nag-change na yung genotype yan. Kaya nag-change din yung genotypic frequency kung merong mutation na magaganap. Pag meron namang migration na magaganap, mababawasan or madadagdagan. Okay? Basically, kung mag-migrate yung isang individual to another population or from another population to your population, mababawasan or madadagdagan yung frequency. So, mag-change yung genotypic frequency. And when it comes to selection, you are only allowing the individuals na sinelect mo to breed, meaning wala nang random mating na magaganap. Okay? Eh, kailangan merong random mating na magaganap in order for the genes to be constant from generation to generation. Eh, pag nag-select ka, basically, you are only allowing yung mga sinelect mo na magaganda na mga animals to mate, eh wala nang random mating. Okay? You are intervening with the mating, the natural mating of the population. So, mag-change din yung genotypic frequency. Okay? So, yan yung Hardy-Weinberg law. Basta random mating, yung genotypic frequency will remain constant from generation to generation. Unless merong mutation, merong migration, or selection na magaganap. So, yan yung sinasabi dyan. Yung genotype frequencies of the progeny generation are determined by the gene frequency in the parental generation. Basta it is constant. Okay? Meron tayong equilibrium na magaganap, Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, if the gene frequency is the same in the parents and the progeny. Basta walang mutation, walang selection, walang migration na magaganap. So yan yung sinasabi ko. A population is not in the equilibrium, or it is not constant from generation to generation pag dynamic population na. Kasi nga meron ng selection or non-random mating, merong migration, mutation, selection, and kung medyo maliit lang yung population size. Okay? So, hindi na siya magiging constant from generation to generation. Kasi kung, especially pag maliit yung population size mo, walang random mating na magaganap. Okay? Kasi same-same lang yung magme-mate. Kasi nga, small lang yung population size. So yan, dynamic population yung tawag doon. Then we go sa animal breeding. Ano naman yung animal breeding? Basically, you are applying genetic principles in order to improve yung genetic composition ng livestock. Ang purpose ng animal breeding is you are anong tawag dito? Intervening with the natural mating of those individuals with the goal or with of those livestock animals with the goal of actually increasing their productivity, actually improving their productivity. Okay? So, another definition, changing the genetic abilities for economically important traits. So yan. Kasi yung mga economically important traits yung gusto ng farmer. So you are applying yung mga genetic principles in order to actually take advantage of these economically important traits. So basically, basta animal breeding, you are improving the quantity, quality, efficiency, and aesthetic value of the farm animals. So meaning sa animal breeding na, you are there is the human factor that is involved na. Okay? So, selective breeding na kasi yun. Wherein yung mga farm animals are selected, especially those with desirable traits, in order to improve yung traits niya in the next generation. So you are selecting mga animals that you deem productive, na you know na maganda yung lahi, and then sila yung brinibreed mo in order to improve yung productivity nung offspring niya. So yun yung animal breeding. So, when it comes to history, laging tatandaan ito, si Robert Bakewell, siya yung father of animal breeding. Okay? Laging tatandaan yan. Ikabesa, kumbaga. Baka adanto G board exam, who is the father of animal breeding, kunam, Gregor Mendel tisungbat mo, awanon, di ka nakapasan. Okay? So, dapat si Robert Bakewell. Then, meron tayo din si J. Lash, father of modern naman na animal breeding. Pag sinabing father of animal breeding, si Robert Bakewell yon. Pero pag modern animal breeding, si J. Lash yun. E paano naman kung sa auction meron siyang dalawa na yan? Sino yung iano mo? Ilalagay mo. Father of modern, depende na sa question. Father of modern animal breeding, si J. Lash. father of animal breeding or founder ng animal breeding will be si Robert Bakewell. Okay? Then sa UP College of Agriculture, sila yung parang nag-initiate mga ano mga kumbaga sila yung talagang tumutok sa animal breeding dito sa Pilipinas sa University of the Philippines College of Agriculture. Um, Before World War II, you have yung mga products natin of animal breeding. You have yung Philamin cattle, Berkhala pigs, Los Baños Cantonese chickens. After World War II, you have yung Miracle pig, yung NSDB or yung DOST na to eh. So National Science Development Board, chicken strains, Laguna ducks, lahat yan because of animal breeding. And it was spearheaded, initiated by Dr. Bienvenido Maria Shoco Gonzalez around 1893 to 1953. So yan, yung Philamin cattle natin. It is 1/2 Hereford, 3/8 Nelore, 1/8 native. It was crossbred for around 14 years para mabuo natin itong Philamin cattle na to. Then yung Berkhala pig natin, 5/8 Berkshire, 3/8 native pig sa Halahala Rizal. 9 generations naman of constant and rigid selection from 1916 to 1930. Ang ibig sabihin nito, when it comes to animal breeding, hindi yan constant. Okay? Hindi mo ma-achieve yung goal mo na magandang genes for that animal pag 1 year lang na animal breeding. That should be a constant and rigid selection over the years. Dito, 1916 to 1930, almost 15 years. Yung isa, mas matagal pa. So, matagal talaga yung pagbuo ng mga, or matagal talaga yung pag-breed ng mga animals um, just to come up with a organism of a farm animal na nandun yung gusto mong traits. Okay? Then you have yung Los Baños Cantonese chicken, imported strain of chicken from Canton, China, developed as dual purpose breed, raised under Los Baños conditions. Okay? And then you have yung Laguna Mule Ducks. So, interspecific and intergeneric cross between itong mallard or pateros, Peking duck, Muscovy ducks. So, basically, magkaibang species na to eh. Kaya interspecific. Meron kang mallard tsaka yung Muscovy duck. So with that, meron tayo nitong mga economically important traits in farm animals. Sa beef, cattle natin, which is dapat alam ninyo when it comes to animal breeding. So like for example, beef cattle, post-spinning rate of gain, growth rate, and marbling score. Sa dairy cattle, milk yield, butter yield, milk total solids. Sa goat, multiple births, winning weight, milk yield. Sa sheep, fleece weight, fiber diameter. Sa horse, galloping speed, trotting speed, jumping style, trotting pace, length. So by the way, sa horse, merong lumabas noon sa board exam yung parang speed ng horse. So yung mga mundane or yung mga ano bang tawag dito? General information when it comes to this livestock animals, i-review din ninyo. Like for example, ano yung height ng paglipad ng native chicken? Baka merong ganong question. Tignan ninyo sa internet kasi di ko alam. Okay? Ano yung height ng pagtalon ng isang goat? Di ba? Mahilig yung mga goats na tumalon-talon sa mga fences. Baka merong ganon din na ano, na question sa board exam. Or baka ano yung decibel nung pag yung sound ng isang dairy cattle. Pag manganganak, baka merong ganun, ultra specific na mga questions when it comes to sa general information. So please review. Meron akong term for that eh. Meron akong term, basta general information, yung una kong naiisip, pero mas may magandang pang term when it comes to those na na specific knowledge, general specific knowledge within the horse, sheep, goat, or any other livestock animals. Kailangan yan. Kailangan yung alam. Okay? Then, sa meat-type chicken, egg-type chicken, duck, swine, ito naman yung mga economically important traits. Kung titignan, based on the function or based on the purpose of that specific farm animals, merong mga traits that are economically important talaga. Okay? Like for example, sa egg-type chicken, syempre yung economically important trait mo sa egg-type chicken will be egg production. Okay? Will be egg weight. Hindi na ganun ka-importante yung growth rate at saka dressing percentage sa egg-type chicken kasi hindi naman yun yung main product mo. Yung main product mo sa egg-type chicken will be table egg production. Secondary products mo na lang during culling yung dressing percentage or yung meat, secondary product mo na yan, meat, during culling na. And doon lang papasok si dressing percentage. Hindi na din ganun ka-importante. And vice versa. Sa meat-type chicken, hindi na ganun or hindi na importante yung egg production and egg weight kasi yung main product na iproproduce mo will be meat. Kailangan mataas yung growth rate, maganda yung dressing percentage. So, nakikita yung connection. Different animals with different purpose will have different economically important traits. So, with that, dapat alam na ninyo yung mga yon, yung mga traits na yon, kasi yun yung tinitignan nyo when it comes to animal breeding. And speaking of animal breeding, meron tayong system for that. Meron tayong system of breeding na tinatawag. So when it comes to system of breeding, a strategy of deciding which males and females to breed together. Yan. Kasi nga you are selecting na. Okay? You are selecting na yung mga kung ano yung male at saka yung female na maganda and sila yung i-breed mo. So generally influences the degree or homozygosity in the population. Dito na papasok yung sinasabi kanina na Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium or Hardy-Weinberg law na through selection kasi hindi na magiging hindi na magiging same yung genotype from generation to generation. Basically, pag meron ng selection, meron ng breeding na nagaganap, meron ng intervention ng human, it will change yung genotype within a population. Okay? So, sa breeding system, meron tayong tinatawag na inbreeding at saka outbreeding. Okay? So sa inbreeding, mating of related individuals within a population. Okay? So yun yung inbreeding. So meron tayong dalawa. Within inbreeding, you have yung line breeding, meaning it is the mating of less closely related animals. Baka uncle to cousin, uncle to auntie, mga ganun. Okay? Pag sinabi namang close breeding, more closely related. Basically, father to daughter, mother to son, brother to sister. Okay? So, yan. Yan yung inbreeding natin. It can be line breeding, it can be close breeding. Ngayon, ano yung effect? Ano yung main effect ng inbreeding? Basically, it will increases homozygosity because you are breeding a family. Basically, you are breeding within a family na. So, it reduces genetic variation within an inbred line kasi basically, same genotypes, mga ganon. Ano yung consequences nito? Possible exposure of undesirable recessive gene combination since you are only mating individuals within the family, magmamanifest yung mga homozygous recessive genes that are undesirable. Okay? And then another one, inbreeding depression. Kaya nga hindi nire-recommend yung inbreeding for ordinary farmers kasi nga because of inbreeding depression. Pina-practice lang yung inbreeding sa mga large farms with enough resources and vast knowledge when it comes to inbreeding. Kasi nga kailangan pa rin naman ng inbreeding in order to maintain yung genetic composition within a population. Okay? So, kasi ini-increase yung homozygosity. Pero pag ordinary farmers, hindi pwede. Kasi you are, um, it will result to the manifestation ng undesirable recessive gene and merong inbreeding depression na magaganap wherein mas mababa yung performance ng mga animals mo. And then when it comes to may outbreeding naman, mating between animals less closely related than the average of the group to which they belong. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, hindi na sila magkakamag-anak. Yan yung outbreeding. Ano yung main effect nito? Increases heterozygosity naman. Okay? Again, pag sinabing homozygosity, increases homozygosity, inbreeding. Pag heterozygosity, outbreeding. And then another advantage of this, which is why it is recommended for ordinary farms, is yung heterosis or hybrid vigor. So it takes advantage of the complementarity and heterosis or hybrid vigor. Ang ibig sabihin kasi ng heterosis or hybrid vigor, the performance or yung traits ng offspring, it is better or it is improved in relation to the performance of traits of the parents. Basically, mas maganda na yung productivity ng offspring mo or yung anak compared to the parents. Yun yung heterosis or hybrid vigor. So sa outbreeding, meron tayong tinatawag na outcrossing, line crossing, and crossbreeding. Okay? Ano yung outcrossing? Mating of unrelated animals within a particular breed. So you have large white to large white. Line crossing, parang ganun din, pero mating of individuals from different inbred lines naman. And then crossbreeding, mating of animals from different breeds. Basically, you have Dorok and then large white. Okay, so yan yung mga different outbreeding natin. So with that, meron tayo ng crossbreeding system na tinatawag. You have yung terminal SAR system and then you have yung rotational system na tinatawag. When it comes to terminal SAR system, maternal breed females are mated to parental breed males. And then yung mga females na yon are not kept as replacement but are sold as slaughter animals. So, produce sufficient amount of hybrid vigor and it is important attribute is breed complementarity. Basically, sa terminal SAR system, yung mga offspring mo, hindi mo na niro-rotate to breed with the parent or to breed with the other um, individuals within your group. Sa terminal SAR system, nata-terminate na, kumbaga, pag nakaproduce ka na, especially yung mga females natin, um, hindi mo na sila kinikip for breeding, hindi mo na kinikip for as a replacement. Pagkos, binebenta mo na siya. Okay? Yun yung terminal SAR system. Sa rotational system, generations of females are rotated among SAR breeds in such a way that they are mated to SARs where breed composition is most different from their own. Ang ibig sabihin na to, yung mga females na na-produce mo, brinibreed mo siya. Okay? Minimate mo siya within individuals within yung population mo. Okay? So, dito sa rotational system, nagpro-produce ka ng replacement females. So, meron din tayo nitong static terminal system na tinatawag, wherein breed composition does not change over time as it does with rotational system since linear yung system na to. Okay? So replacement females are either purchased or produced from separate purebred population. And hindi siya galing sa herd mo, doon sa population mo. Yung mga replacement females mo, kumbaga, will come from other sources. So you have yung two-breed crossing, you have yung back crossing, you have yung three-breed crossing, and then you have your four-breed terminal cross. So two-breed crossing, ganyan lang. You have yung bull A, bull B. Purebred replacement females have to be purchased or produced in another herd and then takes advantage of heterosis. So, itong ano mo, itong first filial generation mo na crossbred between itong parent generation mo, binebenta mo. Okay? You will not keep this as a female. Pagkos, uh, binebenta mo na siya. Okay? Um, anong tawag nito? Kung hindi man ibenta, basta nire-remove muna siya within yung mating herd mo. Okay? So, yun yung two-breed crossing. Madali lang maintindihan. Okay? You have bull A, cow B, minate mo, yung offspring, ibenta mo, i-remove mo. Okay? Two-breed crossing yon. Sa back crossing naman, the mating of crossbred females with one of the parent purebreds. So it can be repeatable, more uniform set of progeny since you are back crossing it within the parent. So the back cross is obtained where all the females from a two-bred cross are mated to a purebred bull of either of the original breeds. Paano nangyayari yan? Okay? So, ito yung parent mo, si bull A, si male. Ito yung female mo, nakaproduce ka ng first filial generation. Pag itong tatlo na to, ito yung back two-breed crossing lang. Pero sa back crossing, itong female progeny mo, yung mga male progeny pala, nabebenta na yan. Okay? Nabebenta na yan. Ang kinikip mo lang is yung female progeny. Anong gagawin mo sa female progeny? I-mate mo siya kay tatay. Okay? Bull of either breed. No, what? Or hindi sa tatay. I-mate mo siya sa bull of either breed na galing doon sa parents mo na same with that of your parents. Okay? So, tapos yung ano na yon, yung backcross na yon, pag binakross mo na siya, yung anak nila, either male or female, will be marketed or binebenta. Okay? So, yan yung backcrossing na tinatawag. Okay, so when it comes to three breed crossing naman, basically you three breeds na yung involved dito, hindi na lang dalawa. Okay? So all triple crossbred progenies are sold. And then this yields the maximum heterosis kasi you are actually taking advantage of 3 complementary breeds na. So, you are taking advantage of the heterosis ng maternal at saka yung individual na heterosis as well as yung complementary ng tatlong breeds na yon. So, basically, you have three na mga factors na that you are taking advantage of. Kaya na ma-maximize yung heterosis or hybrid vigor. Now, sa three-breed crossing, all the females from a two-breed cross are mated to a bull of a third unrelated breed. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, meron ka ng third breed. So, we start off the same. You have yung bull mo na breed A, and then you have yung cow mo na breed B. You produce yung first filial generation mo na offspring or progeny. And then yung mga male mo dito sa first filial generation, nasusolve mo na. Okay? Pero yung mga female mo, i-breed mo to what we call as terminal sire or yung breed C mo na bull. Ngayon, yung mga anak nila will have this genetic composition, 25% breed A, 25% B, and then 25%, 50% C. So, dito, ima-market mo na lahat, regardless of the gender, regardless if it is a male or female. So, that will be the three-breed crossing na tinatawag. Then you have yung four-breed terminal cross or yung top crossing na tinatawag. So two specialized crosses will be produced and it involves four breeds na. Four separate purebreds na kailangan mong i-maintain in your herd. So, basically, you are crossing dalawang crosses na. You have breed A and breed B. Iko-cross mo, so you have yung 50% A, 50% B na offspring mo. And then, on the other cross, you have breed C and breed D. Iko-cross mo ulit to produce the offspring na 50% C yan. Sorry for the typo. 50% C and then 50% D. Ngayon, yung offspring for the two specialized crosses, i-mate mo sila. Okay? I-mate mo sila and makakapag-produce ka ng 25% A, 25% B, 25% C, and then 25% D na second filial generation na offspring. And lahat ng mga to, i-market mo. Okay? Ibebenta mo lahat. Okay? So that will be your four-breed terminal cross or top crossing na tinatawag. Then you have yung rotational terminal system. Ito yung pinaka-complicated wherein it is designed to solve the replacement problems inherent in static terminal system. Ang ibig sabihin to, you are rotating what you are producing. Okay? Hindi ka na magkukuha ng um, mga replacement female mo from other herds. Kasi yun yung problema when it comes to static terminal system. So, combine the attributes of their rotational and terminal parts, and then it combine a maternal rotation for producing replacement. It will provide more hybrid vigor and breed complementarity than that of rotational system. And it can produce two kinds of animal, maternal and terminal, that are likely to be quite different from each other. So, ganito na yung rotational terminal system na tinatawag. Ito na yung pinaka-simplest na example. Requires a minimum ng dalawang herd, breeding herd, and it will, yung sinasabi nga kanina, it will fix the problem of replacement. Yung problem mo sa replacement kasi you produce your own replacement females, yield less heterosis than the three-breed crossing system, and the two-breed utilizers must be reasonably compatible in biological type. Ang ibig sabihin niyan, kailangan pa rin may complementarity between the breeds. Ano to? Criss-crossing kasi, like for example, sa herd 1 mo, you have breed A and breed B. You have itong progeny mo na ito. So, yung i-cross mo siya sa breed B na galing sa herd 2. So, meron ng criss-crossing na magaganap. And then, yung anak nila will have this genetic composition, 25% A, 75% B, i-cross mo siya or i-mate mo siya dito sa breed A na galing sa herd 1. And then yung anak nila, itong anak nila na ito, i-cross mo siya sa breed B na galing sa herd 2. Okay? So, ganyan. And then, same lang ulit yung anak nila to-cross mo sa breed A, and then yung anak nila i-cross mo ulit sa breed B. Same goes dito, yung anak ng mga to i-cross mo sa breed A na galing sa herd 1, and then yung anak nila i-cross mo sa breed B na galing sa herd 2, and then yung mga anak nila i-cross mo ulit sa breed A na galing sa herd 1. So meron ng criss-crossing na magaganap. So that's one of the example of rotational terminal system. You also have yung three-breed rotation wherein breed A sires are exposed to breed B females, resulting to a 50% na A, 50% B na female. Then these two breed cross females are then mated to sires from breed C, resulting to a production of 1/4 A, 1/4 B, and 1/4 C females, which are then bred to breed B sires. So basically, you have ito, you will start with this, and then you produce yung replacement females mo, i-mate mo siya sa breed C. Ngayon, yung anak nila, ito, you mate it with breed B. And then yung anak nila, you will mate it with breed A. And then, yung mga anak nila, i-mate mo ulit, magro-rotate ulit, kasi nga 3-breed rotation sa breed C. And then, yung mga anak nila, you will cross it with breed B ulit to produce na yung stabilized 3-breed cross mo that you can market. Okay, so that will be the 3-breed rotation na tinatawag. Then for breed rotation, similar to that of the 3-breed rotation, but in this case, you are utilizing 4 breeds. So same, you start with breed A and breed B. The progeny will be mated to breed C. And then, yung offspring nila will be mated to the 4th breed natin, which is yung breed B natin. And then, yung offspring nila will be mated to breed B so that you can produce yung stabilized 4-breed cross mo, which can be marketed again, or which can be sold. So that will be for breed rotation. So, aside from those, you also have what we call as grading up. Yung grading up naman, breeding of animals of two different breeds, parang ano to, parang outbreeding ito or outcrossing. Pero, this involves indigenous breed or genetic group, which is then mated to an improved purebred for several generations. Ang purpose kasi ng grading up or upgrading na tinatawag is to improve yung breed ng indigenous breed natin in order to improve its productivity, in order to improve its genetic makeup, parang ganun, yung upgrading or grading up na tinatawag. So with that, we go sa reproductive biotechnologies. Ano lang to, parang ano nga ba yung mga different biotechnologies? So when we say biotechnologies, syempre, mga developed na mga technologies that will aid in the reproduction, that will increase the reproductive efficiency of our animals. So first, and I think the most popular na reproductive biotechnology is artificial insemination. Wherein, kinokolect mo yung semen from a male, and then manually dinedeposit mo siya, nilalagay mo siya sa reproductive tract, specifically on more or less sa uterus ng isang female na animal. And then fertilization will occur. So yun yung artificial insemination. For multiple ovulation naman, a process wherein yung females are induced simultaneously to ovulate more eggs than what is normally shed. Ang multiple ovulation, this is to increase yung fertility ng animal since mas madami yung mare-release na eggs than that of the normal. So meaning, mas higher yung chances na mabubuntis yung animal. And then you have yung embryo transfer na tinatawag. Basically, this is wherein an embryo is collected from a donor female and then transferred into a recipient or surrogate na mother where the embryo completes its development. So, ano to, it's a complicated process kasi kinukuha mo pa yung embryo sa usually ginagawa din ito sa mga mamamatay na mga animals na maganda yung genes pa rin. Kinukuha yung embryo, especially na may na-develop na embryo, kinukuha yun and then tina-transfer sa surrogate mother. Or pwede rin na you are taking advantage of the genes of the surrogate mother. Or yung recipient na mother. Then, multiple ovulation embryo transfer naman, superovulation and transfer of embryos to hormonally synchronized recipient animal to complete the gestation period. Basically, yung MOWET na yan, you are inducing a lot of these animals to ovulate at the same time. So, yeah. So, ganyan yung ano ng MOWET natin. You select donor animals, superovulation, and then AI, embryo flashing, and then kinukuha mo yung embryo na, and then uh, warming off the embryos for transfer, and then you need to select yung recipient animals to synchronize yung ovulation niya. You detect yung estrus, tapos tignan mo if may na-develop na corpus luteum. And then yung embryo na kinuha mo dito, ita-transfer mo. And then titignan mo na kung merong pregnancy na nagaganap. And then you also have what we call as cloning. Basically, you produce genetically identical animal. So, pwede rin na it is a natural event represented in nature wherein pag meron kang birth ng dalawang twins, basically that's the clone of the other. Okay? So, twins derive from the same oocyte that splits early in development. Kaya na you can consider it as a cloning. Okay? So, pero if artificial, the production of clones can be accomplished through a variety of methods, including slitting of the 2 to 4 cell embryos, then embryonic cell nuclear transfer, and then somatic cell nuclear transfer, and then uh, through embryo splitting and embryonic cell nuclear transfer, um, you can produce yung cloning na. Okay? Pero, again, it raises public concern to the ethics of actually doing this. So, the production of the leadership from an adult somatic cell brought concerns over food safety and of cloned animals. So, meron concerns when it comes to cloning. Pero again, it is one of those biotechnologies, reproductive biotechnologies na pwedeng gawin. Okay? So with that, that ends our video lecture, video discussion on the TCEP on animal breeding and genetics. And it marks the last topic that I will be discussing on your TCEP. I do hope that for the other topics that I did not discuss, it was discussed properly by um, it was discussed properly by those that are in charge. And I do hope na you learn something when it comes to animal breeding, when it comes to genetics. So please review on this. If you have any question, then feel free to ask me personally or message me through Messenger or any other social media na meron ako. So again, if you are still here, thank you for listening.